Really good team win. Obviously it was, I thought we got off to a great start. And we were able, really, for the most part, to sustain it for 40 minutes, which is something that we talked about. And I thought we had a lot of consistency, really, kind of regardless who was in there, which is great to see because, sometimes when you're playing 14 kids over the duration of a game with different substitutions, a game can get sloppy. And I thought our kids did a really good job just consistently defending and being efficient on offense.
So what are you looking for in a game like that? Just when you have a blowout, Evansville hadn't been playing very well this season. Just what are you looking for going in, and did you get what you wanted?
You're always looking to compete at the highest level possible and just trying to be the best version of yourself that you can be individually and collectively as a team. I think looking at the statistically, I'm pleased we were 21 assists, 10 turnovers. That's something that we always look at. And I think our turnovers were down for the most part for duration of the game. Defensively, we really talked about defending without fouling. That was a big point of emphasis coming back from the Illinois State game. Wasn't where I wanted it to be. We talked about it at halftime, and we were still in foul trouble again. So I think that's something that has to continue to get better if we're going to be where we want to be. So even though looking at the score, there's definitely some takeaways from here that we've got to get better at. But was really pleased. I thought our starters came in, did a great job doing their job, getting us off to a good start. And then I thought our bench came in and was able to sustain it. Got a lot of really good minutes. Pleased with our freshmen continuing to develop. I think it's really important to continue to get them time. And I think I don't ever look at records. I don't ever look at any of that stuff. So it's I've been in it long enough to know if they knew who was going to win, you wouldn't put the jersey on and play. So there's a reason you have to put the jersey on and play. And I thought our kids went out and earned it tonight.
We talked to a couple freshmen in here. Just freshmen are best players on their high school teams, and then they have to come in and accept different roles. Just what have you seen from some of these younger players just accepting some of the things and maybe not being the 20-plus point a night scorer, but playing harder on defense than they ever had before?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest adjustment for freshmen, besides the fact that the game is – players are bigger, faster, stronger. Besides the pace of the game and the fact that everybody out there is a good player, you're surrounded by good players on both teams. The biggest adjustment, really, oftentimes to me, is kind of the defensive end of the floor. All of our kids can score. They all scored a lot of points in high school. We know they can put the ball in the basket. We know they're talented from that standpoint. But really, coming in their freshman year, it's probably the most they've heard about defense. In their basketball careers, I'm assuming. And so a lot of times that ends up being the biggest adjustment is just really understanding where they have to compete to earn playing time, not just on the offensive end, but a lot of times it's the defensive end that sometimes has the biggest learning curve, to be honest.
We talked to Cayman. She's just talking about the layers of basketball that you're teaching, that she's not just – she had the basics and Coach Flood did a great job, but she had the high school, what you kind of learned through there. What are some of those layers that you just kind of try to instill in them young and make them better as they go on?
Well, I think, most importantly, it's a lot offensively, it's a lot defensively, just picking up a new system regardless how many layers there are, right? It's just, playing with new teammates, understanding personnel, understanding what we're trying to do offensively, what we're trying to do defensively, and then you throw in there the physicality and the pace of everything. It's hard as a freshman. And I think the thing that I've really stressed as much as anything, it's you don't have to play perfect, but you got to compete like crazy every time you're out there. And I think that's probably been the biggest area of improvement. Other things are certainly starting to click, but like Cayman's she's just competing. She's not hesitant. I think early on she was maybe a little bit hesitant and thinking like she's competing at a higher level now, and it's given her a chance to have more playing time and then be able to go out and use her skill set. You look at somebody like Lewis, she competes like crazy every day in practice, and she's had, taste of success. And then tonight, I thought Tasha came in and was able to give us some minutes. And I think she's got a ton of potential, but it's hard as a freshman. Everybody has different roles, different responsibilities, different needs that we have. And so it's just trying to figure that out. But Love to coach them. They're great teammates. It was great to see Kiki come in and get a bucket. I mean, she works her tail off every day, accepts whatever role we need her with. So, I think that was great. And then obviously Kira, has been tremendous for us so far.
Coach, towards the tail end of the game, right, when some of the other players that don't normally see the floor got in, and they either had a chance to score or they did score, came in and Lacey and everybody's lighting up like crazy on the bench. They talked about how much of a family environment this is. What's it say to you about their passion, their love for their teammates? They don't see the floor often besides practice, getting in and having their chance.
It's great. It's great to see that. That's probably what they were most excited about tonight, and, when we recruit, you try to bring in really good kids and kids that are about something bigger than themselves and not being about themselves and selfish. And I think if you look at the way we try to play, I think we've got a group of kids that care a lot about each other. They compete against each other every day, but they know how hard each other works. And so that for them to have an opportunity to go out and put a uniform on and play and get that first bucket tonight or have more significant minutes than they usually have, it says a lot about them. Is just how they care about each other and just they're great teammates, just being good teammates.
And can you kind of talk about maybe how your trust in the second unit's growing? Because right, second unit, you can see a lot of drop-off sometimes, but they kept up the scoring like you wanted. Talk about your relationship and your trust with that unit and how they've grown so far this season.
Yeah, I think they've grown a lot. I think, to be honest, we've grown a ton. They've grown a ton even just since Christmas break, And I think, really started to see it developing. You can see the potential in them. But sometimes, it takes longer. Sometimes it doesn't always necessarily click. Sometimes the opportunity is not there. But I thought they've done a really good job of just going out and earning what they're getting in practice every day, And so the things they're doing on the court in the game, Cayman, Lewis, especially because they're playing more significant minutes off the bench than they have been. We're seeing them do it in practice every day. And so I haven't seen them do anything in a game that I'm like, wow, I haven't seen that yet. So, and that's most importantly, that's where you get your trust and confidence from is practice. And then you earn it in practice, then you get your opportunity in the game, and you probably have a higher level of success if it's something that you're consistently doing every day in practice too.
And I guess overall, how do you make sure that, we'll call it an easy win, right? How an easy win like this doesn't kind of fill their head up a little bit? How do you make sure they stay, hey, this is the Valley. Like, yeah, you got one easy win, but next opponent, different story.
Yeah, I don't think you're never as good as you think with every win, and you're probably never as bad as you think with every loss. And, you kind of have to have a short-term memory, but at the same time, like, we need to come into this game hungry. We lost a tough one at Illinois State. Like, it wasn't that long ago. So, I think, certainly the sport will humble you quickly, as any sport will. But, I think most importantly, had to come in hungry and I think take the good things from tonight. And hopefully that continues to build confidence. But at the same time, let's try to fix some things that need to get better. And it's a quick turnaround because, again, if you knew who was going to win on Sunday, we wouldn't have to play. So you've got to lace them up, and you've got to go out and prove it every night.
This roster's older than the one you had last year, but just when you look at how does it, just earning minutes and earning a spot on as a freshman, just how difficult is that? We've seen Kira be able to do it from pretty much opening night, but we're seeing Cayman a little more in that second rotation, getting meaningful minutes there against Illinois State and some of these past teams. Just what's it take for those younger players to earn that trust from you?
Again, the trust comes from what you see every day in practice. But I do think, in the recruiting process, we were recruiting strategically to what we felt like our needs were, who we felt like could impact us, who could help us. And whether it was from a transfer standpoint or blending that with freshmen and who we had coming back. And then, from there, it's them working their tail off and buying into what we're asking them to do. And it's not always easy. It's certainly a process. We watch a ton of film individually, probably more individually than we do as a team, just really trying to focus on that individual development, how we structure practice. We have individual stuff every day in practice that we really, focus on that. And then, if kids aren't necessarily playing as much in games, we have a system in place where we're keeping them game ready. It's not just high-minute kids, and then other kids are sitting. So, it's a big emphasis on player development, and I think that's paid off. But it goes back to you have to give them credit because they've come in hungry. They've come in and continue to compete. When at times, maybe when you're not getting instant results, it's easy just to think like, oh, well, let me wait till my sophomore year. I'll wait till, and it's like, don't wait, like go take it now. And so, I think a lot of that comes down to their mentality. So you have to give them credit for just coming in and staying hungry and competing and trusting and buying into what we're doing.
And specifically on Cayman, we've seen her confidence for 4 years down here. We see glimpses of it throughout some of these games in the last few weeks. Just when she's able to get there, just how do you make sure she's building on that? When we saw a few moments tonight, we've seen her step back and take a good shot in previous games. Just how do you get her there?
Well, I think she's built a lot of her confidence from practice. I think she's been more and more comfortable in practice. Things have started to click in practice. I've seen her as a different player in practice, these last couple weeks than I did, necessarily in the first semester. And so I think she's starting to figure things out. Things are clicking. And then there's nothing better than having an opportunity to get in a game and see that it clicks and you have that success too. And so then once you get that taste of success, hopefully that just keeps motivating you to continue to do the things that you've been doing to get you to that point. And so it's great to see. I mean, it's you're going to continue to have ups and downs. That's regardless of what year you are. Some games might be better than others, but to have that taste of success as a freshman, to know that, hey, I can do this, and how I can impact, hopefully that just continues to build her confidence and motivate her every day when she comes to practice to just keep getting better.